Hello and welcome back to another FPL team selection video. I have just realised I've spilt water down my t-shirt, so ignore that. But today we're looking at game week 17. It's a very important game week for mainly defenders. I think a lot of people do have a bit of a defender crisis at the minute, including myself. But before we take a look into game week 17's team, having a wee look back at game week 16 was another pretty average week for myself. I did end up with 51 points, and I think my rank climb was about 20,000, which was absolutely horrendous for the current position that I'm in. Yeah, I think mainly it came down to the Palmer captaincy. I was actually doing pretty well. I think I was like 2.0 or 2.1 millionth going into the Palmer captaincy, which was ideal on Sunday, having had only a 5-pointer from Salah, a 3-pointer from Saka. So I was really hoping that Palmer was going to be able to do well, and I would have got a nice big jump up in the ranks. Unfortunately, I only did get 6 points, and what I believe was 4 goals from Chelsea, so not really too great there. And the captaincy is kind of what let down the game week, because overall it wasn't really that bad. For a change, we actually did get quite a few returns. Porro done well, Salah still got a return, Palmer obviously a bit disappointing with the captaincy, Gordon done well, Cunha, Isak all done well as well. So unfortunately it was really just the premiums that did let us down. Obviously, there's a big -2 there on 8 Nouri in defence. He is someone that's definitely going to be coming out because he hasn't been doing too well at all recently, and he is now suspended due to picking up a red card after the match, after the Wolves match. And when he comes back, he's going to be back down to his 4 yellow cards, which means he is still 1 yellow away from another suspension. And I'm just not really interested in that. Wolves don't have the best fixtures for the foreseeable after this week, I believe. So yeah, I feel like it's just the smart move to move him on. Everyone else is not too bad. I think with Cunha, he should be able to play this week, so I'm not really too bothered about taking him out before they play Leicester, so he should be in the squad. Midfield I'm happy with. I'm more than happy to keep Morgan Rogers through his run, because I don't really think it's worth a transfer to take him out for an Enzo Fernandez or a Amad Diallo. So it really is the defence that we are looking at. 8 Nouri obviously has to come out. Porro with actually a return for a change, which is nice. However, when it comes to, attacking returns and stuff, he just hasn't been amazing. Spurs are conceding, and they do obviously have Liverpool this week. So I think I'm just going to put my money elsewhere. I really feel as though I'm missing out on not having an Arsenal defender. So I would like to get Gabriel in my team, but I think I'm just missing the budget by a little bit. So I'm going to go for the cheaper option in Nouri and Timber. That is one transfer that I think I'm going to be making, because I don't want to keep seeing Arsenal keeping clean sheets and then missing out on those points and dropping even further. Digne is a bit of a problem, but I'm going to hold tight on him for this week at least. Same with Lewis. Alex Moreno, I'm not really too bothered about moving him on. He's good for the price that he is at 4.4 million. So let's take a look and see our potential defenders that could come in. So currently the shortlist consists of Anthony Robinson, Daniel Munoz and Lewis Hall. 4 cheap enough players, round about 4.6, 4.7 and 4.8 million. So these are 3 players that I really do like the look of. Munoz would probably be my favourite. We'll take a look at the stats of each player in a minute, but he's obviously suspended for game week 17 against Arsenal due to picking up 5 yellow cards, so he's going to miss that one, so it doesn't really make too much sense, 1, to bring him in against Arsenal, and 2, because he's not actually playing. So when you're looking just at the fixtures alone, Robinson is probably the best pick here. He's got Southampton at home, Bournemouth at home, Ipswich at home, all in the next 4 matches. It is really just trying to find cover for that Chelsea game, which I don't think should be too difficult considering I do have a full bench of playing players. So he's looking like a really good pick for me. Unfortunately, obviously with taking out 8 Nouri and Porro, the budget doesn't work to get in Gabriel. I'm literally 0.1 off, so if I'd made the transfers before Robinson rose in price, then that'd have been ideal, but I wanted to wait and see what happened with with Cunha, and to see if he had to come out as well, because that wouldn't have been great. So Robinson is going to be probably the better one. Taking a look at the stats as well, you can see that it does pretty much heavily favour Munoz here. His XG is clear of the other two. However, his XA is, a little bit lower. Obviously, for predicted points, he is the lowest, but he is missing out game week 17. And Fantasy Football Hub have him missing out game week 18 as well for some reason. As far as I'm aware, he isn't missing 2 games. It should just be game week 17 that he misses. So when you consider that he's only get predicted points for 3 of his next 5 matches, he probably would be the one at the top for predicted points. So he would be at the top for XG, predicted points, shots, and X minutes. It does look like a really good pick, and Palace are coming into a really, really nice run of fixtures. So I think I'm going to wait until next week. He could be a potential replacement for someone like Digne for myself. But looking at these stats, it's probably going to be Anthony Robinson, purely because, he's not too far behind Hall in expected assists. He's got more shots, and he's obviously got much better fixtures as well. A little bit more expensive. If I was to go for Lewis Hall instead, I could afford Gabriel over Timber, but I do just think Robinson is a little bit more of a solid pick than Lewis Hall is, and again, like I said, much nicer fixtures. So with that being said, this is the confirmation of our 2 transfers that we are going to be making this week. Aït-Nouri is going to be going to Anthony Robinson, and Pedro Porro is finally coming out. I think I've had him since game week 1. He's going to be coming out for Yuri and Timber. Again, ideally would prefer to get Gabriel in there, but Timber's, I think he's more than nailed at the minute with Ben White out. He should have, a lot of game time, and he's going to be the one getting forward as well. And he is also a bit of a corner threat, not as much as someone like Gabriel or Saliba, but he has scored from a corner this season. There is still potential for him to do something there. So those are the 2 transfers we're making. It leaves me with none left in the bank. So if I was to get Munoz in next week, and potentially look to get Cunha out if his suspension does come around, then we're probably looking at a -4 for next week. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of digging and some research to see if I really want to do that and see who the best options are. But for this week, it's going to be 2 free transfers. So with those being made, this is how the team is going to look for this week. One big issue that does stand out for me is the fact that every single one of my players outside of the Fulham boys are playing away from home this week. There is a couple of nice fixtures in there, but yeah, the away from home thing could be a bit of an issue. Obviously Flecken is playing at home as well, but no one really cares about him. He's literally picking up no points anyway. But yeah, Robinson and Jimenez are the 2 main guys here with the home fixture against Southampton. Happy to have 2 Fulham players in there. They do have a nice little run over the next few. So I think having at least a double up in Fulham should be beneficial. I've got the double Newcastle again this week. They done really well last week with a 6 and 11 pointer from Gordon and Isak. The only issue being they played last night in the cup and they essentially played their full team. So Isak got 70 minutes, Gordon gets 70 minutes, all on a Wednesday night, and I think they play Saturday as well, I want to say. So prone to early substitutions, more Gordon than Isak. Isak doesn't really have a backup right now with Wilson out injured, but Gordon could easily be prone to an early substitution with Harvey Barnes or like a Jacob Murphy, depending on who starts, just because he played those midweek fixtures. The defence is still looking pretty solid. Alex Moreno's coming back into the team for the first time in a few weeks. Brentford away will probably be a fairly difficult fixture for him, but he is, in my opinion, the best option in defence. I don't want to be playing Digne against Man City, nor do I want to play Lewis against Aston Villa. So again, I would have maybe took a -4 this week if Munoz was playing, but he's obviously suspended. Timber's coming in against Crystal Palace. That completes the double up with Saka. Obviously Salah in there as our captain. Spurs away, if you want to know why. We obviously have our captaincy video this week, which Salah does look like the best option to me, and I'm very happy with that pick. Palmer was originally the one on the cards before I actually did the research for this week's game week 17 captaincy. So if you are sticking on Palmer right now just because it looks like it's the easiest fixture on paper, I'd recommend you go watch that video and potentially give yourself a little bit to think about. So it is going to be Salah captain for me. Rodgers is going to be the first on the bench if anything goes wrong. A little bit wary of not playing him. You know, Man City haven't been fantastic. Definitely potential for Rodgers to at least get a return in that match, but in terms of all the midfielders and attackers that I do have playing, I feel like it would just be a little bit silly not like to play him over any of these other ones. If we do get a late suspension for Cunha, then I probably won't. Well, I might transfer him out, it depends. I don't really think I've got the budget to transfer him out for someone decent. I just realised this graphic's wrong. I've got 0.8 million in the bank in the top right. I only have 0.4, so I can't really get like a Jackson in that I would like to. Plus, I'm still waiting his yellow card coming around for him to get suspended as well. So that's how the team's looking. That I'm pretty comfortable with it at the minute. Couple of changes I would like to have. I think if I could wildcard right now, it definitely would be handy, because there is about probably about 5 or 6 players that I would like to swap out. But you know, it's not the end of the world. I've still got nice fixtures. That front three definitely has a lot of promise this week with Isak against Ipswich, you know, Cunha against Leicester, him against Southampton. So hopefully a big week. Hopefully the premiums can do a little bit better than they did last week, and again we can try push ourselves back into the top 2 million. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe as well if you're new. Again, we have transfer tips and captaincy videos already out for game week 17, so if you haven't seen them already, make sure to go and give them a watch. It would be very much appreciated. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.